Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Parshat Shelach. Shelach is the chapter where God instructs Moses to send the leaders of the 12 tribes to go scout the land of Canaan. And this is the land that is promised to the children of Israel. And these scouts, when they go, they find grapes and they find pomegranates and they find, all sorts of wonderful signs that this land is fertile. And they see the people who are dwelling there. And when they get back to the encampment, they report, 10 of them, that it's just a lost cause, that these people are giants and they're like grasshoppers, and there's no chance that they're going to be able to fight against those that are living there and succeed. 2 say, God gave us this land. We will succeed. So the perspective of the 10 versus the perspective of the 2 that have faith is what we read about in this week's Torah portion. And it is really intense to read about God's anger and the path for forgiveness and the ways in which one's perspective and what we see and how that impacts our confidence about who we are and what our purpose is in this life is impacted. And by the end of this Torah, God gifts the people who have atoned for their sins of lacking faith with the gift of tzitzit, which are the fringes on their garments, so they can remember who they are, so they can remember that they have a covenant, that they've basically agreed to following the 613 commandments, and they will have a tangible ability to touch into their strength. So let's see what the cards have to say about Shelach. It's so noisy. I hope you've had an awesome week, by the way. Okay, I like to shuffle 3 times. And then I create 3 stacks. And this is an opportunity to just go and see what deeper spiritual insights we can gather from this week's Torah. So I'm going to climb the mountain. So the energy that we enter this week with is a sense of vitality, which is true. Certainly, I feel that way after COVID and after an amazing wedding, but also I think about the fruits being a really key part of this Torah, that it was actually the first grapes were coming into ripening, and they were able to see all of the goodness of the land and its vitality. The energy that we need in order to learn a deeper lesson and insight this week is to stay in touch with our capacity to move and the force within us. So really being aware of the ways in which we have energy in our body, and we can do with that energy all that we're here to do is our force. And this week's learning and Torah is to fuel ourselves. So to find that which is pure and to give it to ourselves so that we can stay focused and fully vital in the world. And how to do that is to do it together, to recognize that when we live within our awareness that there's a oneness of harmony and connection for all of us, we have the capacity to tap into the pureness that is actually the fuel that we need. And ultimately, the outcome of this week's Torah is, okay, this is super cool. So this week's Torah portion is all about what it means to have trust, that we're on the right path, and that we are, in fact, God's servant and partners. And so the outcome being trust is pretty awesome. So stay in that, and Shabbat Shalom.